In the Star Wars films, the Force is described as an energy that permeates the entire universe, connecting all living beings. Some individuals, such as the Jedi and the Sith, have the ability to sense and manipulate this energy, granting them extraordinary powers. But can these abilities be passed on genetically? In the movies, we see that the Force is often passed down from generation to generation. For example, Anakin Skywalker, the Chosen One, has a strong connection to the Force, and his sons, Luke and Leia, also show great potential. This raises the question, could there be a genetic basis for sensitivity to the Force? The question of whether the Force is genetic in Star Wars is complex and has no definitive answer, not even in the words of the saga's creator himself, George Lucas. Throughout his interviews and comments, Lucas has given ambiguous clues about the role of genetics in the Force. At times, he suggests that sensitivity to the Force can be inherited, as in the famous Skywalker lineage. At other times, he emphasizes that the Force can be present in anyone, regardless of their origin. Let's consider this idea from a scientific and philosophical perspective. In modern science, we know that certain abilities and predispositions can be inherited genetically. Physical characteristics, musical talents, athletic abilities, and even certain personality traits can be passed down from parents to children. So why not sensitivity to the Force? Imagine that the Force, in the context of Star Wars, is a form of extrasensory perception, something that allows some individuals to sense and interact with the environment in ways that others cannot. If this ability were a genetic trait, we could theorize that some people are born with a natural predisposition to access and manipulate this energy. Now, how would this translate to our real world? Although we can't move objects with our minds or predict the future like the Jedi, we can explore the idea that certain people may have a keener intuition, a greater sensitivity to the energies around them, or even a natural capacity for meditation and emotional control. These abilities, while not as spectacular as those portrayed in the films, can be seen as subtle forms of Force sensitivity. Let's delve a little deeper into this idea. If sensitivity to the Force is something that can be passed on genetically, this means that practices such as meditation, emotional control, and perception of the energies around us can be skills developed and honed over generations. Families that cultivate these practices can pass on this knowledge and skills to their children, creating a kind of legacy of the Force. Let's look at some practical examples. Think of families where the practice of meditation is a tradition. Parents teach their children from an early age to meditate, to control their emotions, and to tune in to the energies around them. These children, in turn, teach their own children, and so on. Over time, the ability to meditate deeply and maintain an emotional balance can become second nature to these people. Another example could be seen in families with a strong tradition of spiritual or religious activities. In many cultures, spiritual sensitivity is something that is cultivated over generations. The abilities to sense and work with spiritual energies, while not exactly the same thing as the Force in Star Wars, can be seen as an interesting parallel. And how does this apply to us in our daily lives? Even if you don't have a family heritage of spiritual practices or meditation, it is possible to develop these skills on your own. The key is constant practice and openness to exploring new forms of perception and emotional control. For those who want to start developing this sensitivity to the Force, here are some practical tips. Daily meditation. Dedicate some time each day to meditation. Meditation helps to calm the mind, improve concentration, and increase awareness of the energies around you. Emotional control. Work on controlling your emotions. The Jedi are known for their calm and serenity. Learning to manage your emotions can help you maintain a balanced state of mind and improve your sensitivity to energies. Perception of energies. Practice perceiving the energies around you. This can be done through visualization exercises, mindfulness practices, and even through activities such as yoga, which help you tune in to your body and environment. Continuous learning. Always be open to learning and exploring new practices. Read books on spirituality, attend workshops, and seek out knowledge that can help you develop your skills. Lucas' view of the genetics of the Force seems to be fluid. He acknowledges the influence of heredity, but also emphasizes that the Force is not limited by it. Sensitivity to the Force can be a gift received at birth, but it can also be developed through effort and dedication. What makes the question even more interesting is that the very nature of the Force remains a mystery. Its origin and workings are not fully understood, which leaves room for different interpretations of how it manifests itself in individuals and families. In the end, the answer to the question of whether the force is genetic or not depends on the individual perspective. Lucas left room for ambiguity, allowing fans to explore different ideas and draw their own conclusions about this fundamental aspect of the Star Wars universe. The idea that the Force can be transmitted genetically is a fascinating assumption that leads us to consider how certain abilities and sensitivities can be passed down from generation to generation. In our world, this can translate into spiritual and meditation practices that strengthen perception and emotional control, helping us to access the Force in a more subtle way in our daily lives. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like it, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Until next time, and may the Force be with you.